So, I am here today because the Lumberjack forced me to. I'm joking. So, I've come to talk to you about wood turning and about who I am and about the whole wood turning sort of world I am in. So, have you got any wood turners here? No pressure then. I can always tell because they always sit at the front. Anybody that wants to be a wood turner? Yeah, nice. So I'm going to tell you a bit about the machine that I use, which is the Lumberjack machine, the VSL305. Tell you about the chisels that I'm going to use. So I got into wood turning. So in college, I was studying bricklaying. And on the last day of my bricklaying course, I dropped a block on my foot and broke it. So obviously it's like the first day of summer, like what am I going to do? So obviously I had a cast on, and I went to, I think it was just like a little craft fair or something, and there were a wood turning club there, and I said, I'd like a go at this, but obviously I've got like this big thing on my foot, like what do I do? He says, oh, it's fine, just come down, and we'll show you what to do, we can facilitate, disabled people, if you like. So I says, okay. So the following day I went, and then I went the following day. And then I went the following day, and the following day, and the following day, and, I absolutely loved it. And that was back in 2015. So I've been doing it a long time. I then went full-time in 2019, and it's been like my full-time job ever since. So my little business is run with me and my mum. We do all sorts of different crafty things, predominantly from the lathe. My mum's getting there with it, bless her heart. So the reason why I love it, really, is because you can turn a nothing into a something in a really small space of time. So when I demonstrate, I normally use like a log or a branch, just because I feel it's more relatable to people, Wood turners will use like bowl blank spindle pieces, but pretty boring, if you ask me. So I normally use something relatable like this. And how much does this cost? Next to nothing. So when you're running a business from what you do, your materials, if they don't cost anything, then that's even better. Would you agree? Yeah, and obviously being a Yorkshire lass, we're pretty tight, so it's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this in the chuck. Like I said, this is the lathe that I've been using for 2 or 3 years now. I've got some examples of work on the Lumberjack stand, if you're ever over that way. So we're going to mount it in the machine. Looks about right. And we are going to make a mushroom. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah, that's good because I didn't have another plan. That was as good as it was going to get anyway. So, when it comes to buying a lathe, you want to be thinking about what you want to make and how much space you've got to make it in. This is just a little lathe, but it's capable of doing big things. I only make little things anyway, and I only have a small workshop, so this is perfect for me. Another thing is obviously price. This is under £400, so it's a pretty good bargain, to be fair. Chisels. Obviously, chisels are being next thing. And if I'm being totally, my Yorkshire charm, a bit blunt, do not cheap out on your chisels. If anything goes wrong, it'll be the chisel that gets it, yeah? So spend a bit of money on your chisels. You've saved a bit of money by spending at Lumberjack, obviously. So your chisels, you want to put toward a good quality set of chisels. I'm sure all the wood turners in the room would agree with me. Thank you very much. So, what we're going to do, make sure that's locked in. I'm glad nobody's down this way, because if it flies out, not going to hit anybody, it won't. So normally what we do now is we'd use our spindle roughing gouge to rough it out, to make it round. Yeah, so you got a square piece or an obscure shaped piece. You want your spindle roughing gouge to make it round. So when you're buying chisels, if everybody's taking notes, spindle roughing gouge, yeah. But because we want this to be, hang on, this piece of hair is getting in my way. Because we want the mushroom to be a live edge mushroom, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go straight into shaping it. So, spindle gouge. Clues in the name. You make spindles with it. Wood turning is pretty fancy like that, And all wood turning is, again, maybe a bit, saying it as it is. Wood turning, all it is a cove or a bead. So either convex or concave, beads and coves. And once you've mastered a bead and you've mastered a cove, in my opinion, you are a wood turner. The beads and coves, it's whatever pattern, shape, variation you want it to be in, but that is all wood turning is. It's either that way or it's that way. That's as fancy as it gets. Yeah? So we'll start at the top and we'll just turn it round. Pretty easy chisel to use. Obviously, I won't go into too much detail. So this will be your bead. So it's a half bead is a mushroom, half a bead and half a cove. So when you're first starting out, or because I teach now, and when somebody comes, it's the first thing that I really set them off on is a mushroom. Mainly because, like I said, they are half a cove and half a bead. So they've mastered the basics doing a mushroom, and they're so quick and easy. To me, wood turning, it has to be inspiring, and the only way for it to be inspiring is it to be easy and have something that you can be proud of. So that's why I start them off with that. I don't make toys, but I do make a lot of things for kids for my business, to sell. Just for that, in the hope that they'll look at it and go, I want to make that, because otherwise that's how crafts die. So every hobby now used to be like a full-time job, like the cotton industry and everything else and sewing, it used to be like a full-time job for somebody, and same with wood turning, all your spindles were made by hand, and now it's all like CNC done, and that's why it's now a hobby, because it doesn't need to be done that way. People just like doing it. But if people don't like what you can make, nobody's going to do it. So, I don't know what you can see on the screen, but this is called your flute, this top bit here, yeah? And when you do your bead, you want an open flute, so it's pointing upwards, and then when you come round and you're pushing, you want to end up with a closed flute. So it's open and closed, stay the other way, open and closed, yeah? So when you come round, if you notice, start off like that, and then as I come round, it'll land in that position, yeah? And with a cove, it's the opposite. Yeah, mind-blowing. So I think that'll do for the top part. And then the bottom. So like I said, I want it to be live edge, so I want a bit of a bark band, basically. So I'm going to have that about there, I would say. And another thing with making mushrooms, or, predominantly everything that I make, there is no right and wrong. Mushrooms are different, not one mushroom is the same. So if I make this, it doesn't matter what shape it's going to end up as. Because like I said, every mushroom's different. And even if it goes terribly wrong and looks nothing like I intended it to do, nobody's going to know. So we'll use this parting tool to make it groove. Fairly simple. We're just pushing up and lifting our left hand ever so slightly. So we're cutting in. We're not scraping, we're cutting in. And then you start your cove. So exact same. So close flute, and then we open it up slightly. Yeah, like you're scooping it out, like ice cream. Make it as neat as we possibly can. There we go. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? So, then going to be parting it off. So we'll part it off about here. Again, I want to leave a bit of a bark band around the bottom. Again, with wood turning, you can use any wood, really, that you like. So whether it's a branch, a log, something you found, something you've bought, a 2x2, 3x4, you know, it doesn't matter, you know. Again, it is an expensive hobby to get into, but doing the hobby, you know, it's just wood. You know, like there's trees everywhere, you know, you take the dog for a walk, you know, there's always going to be something there you can use. So it doesn't have to cost a lot in that respect. Initially, yes, like I said, don't cheap out on your tools. So I'll get rid of this little bit on top. And that is basically your mushroom. So do a bit of sanding. We're not going to go mad, don't worry. I make a lot of mushrooms for indoors, for outdoors. Like I say, it's just easy. When you've got like little offcuts to use up, it's perfect for that. I think I've just lost all the bark. Oh no, there's still some there. It's all good. So